very special conversation right here at AI Summit New Delhi. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Vertiv present, designing the AI factory, scaling compute to sovereign AI. More on this, we have with us Giordano Albertazzi, who is a global CEO of Vertiv, a global provider, as we all know, for critical digital infrastructure and data center. Welcome to this very interesting conversation. I want to start by asking you that how important you think India as a market and becoming critical part of Vertiv global strategy.
Yeah, well, it's great being here with you. So looking forward to our conversation. Certainly, India is strengthening its role globally from an AI standpoint, and this is very clear. This is very palpable, and this is demonstrated by the many projects that are ongoing in India to build data centers, AI factories, to really grow the ability to serve India, but also serve the world with AI technology and AI services. Very proud to say that Vertiv has been in India for, we've been in India for decades, but never like today have we invested in India. Our investment and footprint is growing, and India is certainly central for India as a market, but also as an export hub in many respects. So very excited. There are various dimensions when it comes to the difference. One is that the AI factory really produces produces intelligence that is the next level from what we saw traditionally a data center, which is mind-bending, or used to be mind-bending. Now we all know that that not only is possible, but is scalable, and it continues to evolve at an incredible speed. But there are also structural differences between a traditional data center and AI factory, and are all coming from a different IT technology that is behind it, not just the transition to GPUs, but also higher densities of IT racks, much more kind of a condensed type or densified type of loads. So all things that require a different type of infrastructure that can handle a density that is unprecedented, and that influences the way cooling is done, the way power is distributed. Another dimension is typically the scale of an AI factory that can go to the giga size. So again, dimensions and numbers that are unprecedented. But we will see an AI factory ecosystem to take multiple shapes. So stay tuned, because technology continues to evolve.
I'm sure, as you rightly pointed out about the massive scaling which is happening around that, and you use the word gigawatt scale. I wanted to understand what are the biggest challenges in setting up such sort of gigawatt AI scale and that sort of massive alignment. How are you doing that? How are you preparing yourself on those lines?
Well, certainly there are industry challenges or work points. For example, having access to power. Certainly India is in a very good situation here, power being abundant. So having power, having the right, of course, land and permitting. But certainly when then it comes to building the actual AI factory or the AI data center, then you have to really think in terms of what the technology is going to be like. What are the technology in terms of IT that you will serve when the data center will be completed and running, but also what will the evolution be over the years? So IT will continue to evolve. So you have to think in terms of an infrastructure that can be future resilient. But also, these are big developments, these are big buildings. What we see not only is an evolution on the power and thermal infrastructure, but also the way you build. We see more and more integration, more prefabrication, so that the complexity is removed from the field and it's handled in a factory, so that the activity in field becomes fast and becomes less, let's say, onerous in terms of resources. um, Factories are more controlled environment. You can control quality better. In the end, you will be faster deploying an AI factory. And speed is an essential element in the economics, because the time to token is essential for our customers. We play a phenomenal role here, not only in terms of the power and cooling evolution, but also in terms of how we think about how you build a factory. You'll see around us a lot of examples of prefabrication.
But tell me, the fact that India has a relatively bigger sort of infra in terms of manufacturing. So, how you think India expand, manufacturing sort of aspect to align with the global supply chain which Vertiv is offering at this point of time?
Sure. At Vertiv in general, we think in terms of, we have undergone a regionalization evolution of our install base. That is, sorry, of our supply chain and manufacturing base. This has also happened in India. We've been manufacturing in India for many decades, but certainly we are increasing our footprint, expanding the factories that we have, and also thinking about new factories. And also, more and more, we're relying on local suppliers. So we see India more and more like a kind of a self-sufficient ecosystem to serve the data center industry. And we certainly love operating in India for manufacturing for India, manufacturing often also for export. Importantly, also, India is for us a big engineering hub that serves not only the Indian market but the world. So always very excited when I'm here.
I'm sure all the global leaders are recognizing the fact that how AI is evolving in country like India, and for that matter, all the Asian countries, even China, etc. So how, you think that this become an opportunity for global leaders like Vertiv, and is there any investment goal in mind as you go forward? Because of course, you are any company for that matter look for a long-term perspective, and you rightly said that future has to be resilient. So, how your investment goal is panning out, for India and scaling up, and the kind of scaling up you're seeing in the AI ecosystem?
Uh, the presence in India, that is, of course, part of our global scale footprint with presence in Asia, in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and of course in the Americas. But India, in and of itself, is a very important part of our supply chain, and the speed at which the data center industry and the AI-driven, let's say, demand in the data center industry clearly demands that our ability to manufacture and to support the India business continues to expand. And that's what we're doing. We're constantly expanding our footprint. As we speak, we're doing that. And it will continue.
As you rightly pointed out, that the thing is that how the data center is evolving, and we have seen that policymaker in India has done a lot in past few years to kind of promote data center. And in fact, we have seen a lot of tax incentive also coming. Are you going to avail those sort of the facility, the tax breaks, etc., which India is providing at this point of time, or do you think there has to be more to attract global leaders like Vertiv?
I think that the what you describe is certainly advantageous and attractive. from a Vertiv standpoint, that we look at it indirectly, in the sense that that attracts our customers and invites our customer to build infrastructure and data center. So it's not direct for us, but it's certainly a big incentive for the market to continue to expand, and that's the market we serve. So something that makes us quite happy.
How you think at this point of time that India is prepared for the global AI race, which we are seeing, the way the fireworks are going on, lot of partnership happening in the IT sector, etc. But how you think that India is kind of all set to take on competition in the global AI race?
I am pretty optimistic in that respect for many reasons. Certainly, India again has the power to make a meaningful infrastructure happen. The speed at which the infrastructure is developing in India is significant. The demographics of India as a market are quite advantageous as well. But let's not forget also that the AI industry is quite, in many respects, a truly global industry. And let's say India and the Indian population is certainly present in this industry at global level. So put all these things together, and I think the position is quite privileged and advantageous. So I'm very optimistic.
Being a global leader who is like very much into providing solutions on data centers and critical digital infrastructure, and you rightly in the beginning of the conversation mentioned about the importance of energy in the whole AI ecosystem, because that's very important aspect. Wanted to understand, do you also kind of assess how India homegrown AI companies are doing? They come up with new experiments, and whether they are prepared to have that energy, that power thing ready to take on such a big, vast ecosystem, which they are anyway going towards it. Are you also assessing these homegrown Indian AI? Are you keeping a watch on those companies?
We continue to look at things, and we look at things through the lens of the infrastructure. So there clearly is a very vibrant, let's say, AI applications or AI models that is Indian homegrown or anyway developed in India. But when we look at the infrastructure, certainly we see a lot of hyperscale presence here in India, but also if we think about neo clouds, so companies that offer AI cloud services, we see a very dynamic market. So I think that the answer to your question is yes, the market is dynamic in many dimensions.
Well, since you're talking about the evolving India AI landscape, let me hear what Subhashish Majumdar, Vertiv Managing Director, India, has to say.
So India is a very integral part of the global supply chain within Vertiv. So it gives us the flexibility within Vertiv to balance the regional demand and supplies, right? So now we have the capability to supply to anywhere in the geography, whether it's the mature geographies of the Americas or the Australia, or even in the Southeast Asian market. So we are building that capability, and that gives Vertiv a lot of flexibility to mitigate any supply challenges that they're seeing across the world. It's a very exciting. You can see the excitement around this AI summit. And this is all we are seeing on the ground. A lot of AI adoption, and that means a lot of digital infrastructure is going to be built in the next few years.
Well, thank you, Subhashish, for your insightful views on the evolving AI landscape in India. How you see that energy, the power, etc., which is required to sustain the AI ecosystem, the global leaders are prepared for that, because the views are divided. Of course, somebody is still, some countries, some developed nations still for traditional sort of energy, but some are moving towards more energy which are like renewable, etc. So how you think, how this sort of divergent views in terms of energy, which is very important aspect of AI ecosystem, is going to pan out to scale it further, to expand it further, the whole system.
Well, certainly there are it's a multi-technology situation when it comes to power availability is very strong today. Uh, I believe that the plans to further expand are strong. When it comes to what that means for the data center industry, the part of the data center industry that we support is we certainly see a data center infrastructure in which the architecture of how energy is handled within the data center is evolving. Is evolving towards 800 volt DC. It's evolving towards more battery energy storage systems for a more intelligent and efficient use of power and an ability to interface with multiple sources of energy beyond the, let's say, the traditional grid. So for what we are concerned, we make an entire portfolio of power solutions available to ensure that the powertrain from the source of energy to the chip is optimized to the type of load that our customer want, but also to the type of business model that they are implementing.
So just for the benefit of our viewers, who you did touch upon the points that how kind of data center is sort of helping, aiding in the AI expansion altogether. If you could elaborate a bit on that how data centers is actually helping and kind of backbone in the entire AI expansion across the world.
Well, it's very, let me say, put it very simply. AI runs on chips, runs on servers. Servers are inside a data center. So without data centers, without AI factories, that we say it's a kind of it involved next level data centers, there's no AI. There is no artificial intelligence. There is no IT. So think about the data center as the, how to say, the 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 body of the AI industry. That's the body of the AI industry.
Since you're in India and Vertiv has one very prominent booth, I could see. How are you seeing this mega event like AI Summit, AI Impact Summit happening in a developing nation like India, and how this is going to help the entire industry? If you could throw some light on that.
Yeah, I want to start from the very favorable demographics of India, and that's what you definitely see walking around this very big
A
very
lot
big
of
event.
enthusiasm, I'm
A
sure.
lot of enthusiasm. So concentrating the enthusiasm and the minds fosters business, fosters agreements, but also fosters creativity and awareness. So I think it's a very intelligent way to mobilize the energy of the country, but also to offer a place where a lot of business interactions can happen and raise the awareness of a very large part of the population. So it's very exciting, and I think it's very uh, smart.
One question, and everybody is asking, at least in this summit, to every leaders we are speaking with, is about the impact of AI. And I want to understand from you. You can, you can choose to not answer, but I will ask that. The fact that there are certain reports and whole talks around that AI is going to, impact jobs in IT sector and eventually most of the sectors. In fact, some of the studies coming out, some of the experts talking about that how by 2050 those jobs are going to be obsolete. Wanted to understand your view, how you seeing the AI impact in terms of employment overall, and do you also believe that it will going to impact the high skilled professionals and all the jobs, all the coding, BPOs, etc.? What's your view on that?
Well, that's certainly a complex. It's a complex theme. I tell you very much in a nutshell what I think. AI is augmenting. I always call it AI augmented intelligence in many respects, where the human intelligence is augmented by artificial. Uh, it certainly will change the way we do things, and that's why the enthusiasm. So what that exactly will be like, I don't know, but certainly, people that know how to use AI, that use AI at every level, in every walk of life, will have an advantage over people who don't. So I think that's my fundamental belief. Just like if you go back to any revolution, people who embrace the revolution are better off than those who don't.
But this argument of looking at all the revolution, like your computers to digital gadgets, laptop, every revolution has its mark. But the AI, the way it's hyper progressing, the speed, the pace, the way it's going, it's a bit concerning for at least some of the sector at this point of time, if not many. So wanted to understand your view on the fact that, are you also like believer of that, no, AI has a lot of advantage than the disadvantage?
Oh, definitely. So we will see it in a few years. The speed at which things evolve, as you're saying, is breathtaking. The advantages for humanity are extremely important. Thanks to medicine, thanks to pharmaceutical things, we can take a lot of examples. We'll we will see, but I'm very optimistic about the future.
So you are, wait and watch mode at this point of time and going with the flow.
No, certainly very active, but I'm very optimistic, and yeah,
It will have a great future. Indeed.
I think it will be creating a great future for humanity, and firmly believe that.
Well, thank you. And that's the wrap of this very, very special conversation with Vertiv CEO. Thank you so much
That's my pleasure.
for giving us time and speaking with NDTV.